I looked at our listenership through Amazon, and we cracked like the top 100 most listened to sports out of like 200 shows.
It's only 52 states.
Indeed. Yo, Championship Sunday. We in the building. 94 Feet Nation. Let's go. What's good? 94 Feet Podcast. It's your boy Dre. Here with my brother Zeke. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what up?
What up? Here with my brother Keith. What's good, man?
What's good, good people?
And listen, we are proud to finally be able to say that these Milwaukee Bucks are the NBA champions. Let's give it up for the Bucks. Let's show the Bucks a whole lot of love. Let's give it up for the Bucks just battling back and winning 4 straight. There it is. There it is. The Bucks did it. The Bucks won it, and it was nothing like being there, experiencing it live. Keith, how's it feel to be a Bucks fan, long time coming, knowing that we finally delivered the championship?
Listen, man, it's been a long time waiting. And like I said, man, we go all the way back to the Bradley Center days when the Bucks could barely get 20 wins a season, man. And it feel good for the city, man. You can see everybody celebrating together. And I feel that our city needed that.
Yes, sir. Zeke, how does it feel, brother?
It feels great. The city is alive. I think that like going from like Game 6, then the parade like 2 days later, it really, man, you get that champion feeling that you used to seeing on TV, whether it be the Lakers or Golden State or whatever. It feels good to participate in that type of situation where the whole city is united and we're here to, celebrate this 50 years in the making championship run here. I didn't get a chance to go to any of the games, but I was out in the Deer District, and it was live. It was live, and then I went to the parade. That was cool.
So was you one of the ones acting up at the parade?
Not at the parade. Game 6 made a little bit different, but not at the parade. At the parade, it was just more, that was for the, I don't gonna say for the kids, but it was just more. It was during the day.
It was more family oriented.
It was a little bit more family oriented, and even though PJ was lit.
That's our J.R. Smith.
It was still fun. I don't think it was bad as JR, but it was. That's how you're supposed to celebrate, though. And I think that it was just amazing to be a part of that for once in a while, just to be a part of it, not have to, watch it from the sidelines, just to be a part of it.
Yeah, I tell you, man, Brandon Jennings came down and he came up to the job. Many of y'all know where I work, and I was actually teaching when Brandon Jennings showed up, and he stopped me from teaching, and he said, Bucks and 6, stay in school, y'all. And I had to remind myself and the students that I was teaching that although Brandon Jennings receives a lot of flack from a lot of people, I think us included sometimes, Brandon Jennings really started the revolution of the Bucks being a serious team. Hear me out.
Go ahead.
He was in that era where folks started getting excited again, right? Brandon Jennings. Do y'all remember the year we had BJ, Andrew Bogut, a couple other stars, and the Bucks that year had a nice run in them, but Bogut got injured. Remember, we were at that game together.
When he fell, man.
Ironically, it was against the Phoenix Suns. Remember, Amari Stoudemire slightly tapped him,
But the fall
was just ridiculous. But Brandon Jennings, the 55-point game, he started. Brandon Jennings is the reason that I became a season ticket holder for the Bucks in my adulthood.
Oh yeah,
in my adulthood. Before BJ, I had never had season tickets, and then we got into the draft mode of Jabari Parker, where we all was excited and thought he was the next big thing, and then there's Giannis
But I thought him and Giannis would actually be the franchise faces for a long time, but
I didn't.
But he couldn't get over that hump of them injuries.
He couldn't, and I say all that to say I was very glad to see that the Bucks opened their championship parade with people like Brandon Jennings, people like Marcus Johnson, people like Michael Redd, because those players, although they couldn't deliver championships to us, they helped the Bucks see some of their better years, and I'm air quoting better years. So it was nice to see the Bucks give the hometown boys, in terms of our team, some shine, because Bucks in 6 was coined by who? Brandon Jennings.
Was that Buck Jennings?
Remember when
They're
we played?
crediting him to this. I don't understand why they're crediting him for this, but they
Because-
are crediting him. I remember that. I
you
remember
say
that
that?
statistically.
Against Miami Heat.
The Bucks played Miami.
And got
We
swept.
were the 8th seed.
Yep.
They were the number 1 seed.
Yep.
We had lost 2 games in a row.
Yep.
And they were like, Brandon Jennings, what do you think is going to happen? Or how do you predicting the rest of the series going to go? He was like, oh, Bucks in 6.
Bucks
and
in
he
6.
said it so confidently.
He did.
He threw everybody in the room off. So they was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah, Bucks in 6. And obviously we got swept, but
Badly.
badly. But it was just
Badly.
I guess it was one of those things that stuck around.
It
and
stuck.
so they're putting him to coin the phrase Bucks in 6. I was like, all
They-
right, okay.
What did people expect him to say, though?
That's what he said when they asked him. He was like, "What did y'all expect me to say?
Right, we're gonna lose in
we
5?
gonna lose in 5, or we gonna lose? We gonna get swept?"
But that's good though that he still has that mentality. He don't
was
play for
joking.
us anymore. But no, he really meant that.
And when he came to the city, though, he showed Milwaukee a lot of love, because Milwaukee was pretty hard on Brandon Jennings, like as a point guard, as a shooter. So it was nice to see him back in the fold along with Michael Redd. Remember, Michael Redd was a guy that we witnessed grow up because he used to come to our church all the time. Our former pastor counseled him, all of those things. And so Michael Redd was even in the parade showing Milwaukee a lot of love. So it was a great look for our city. I went to the parade. I went to 2 of the 3 home games. And last week on this show, we all said it. We said the Bucks had to go in and win Game 5.
And what did I say they had to do? I said I remember that conversation too, specifically saying that they had to put their foot in their neck like they was down.
Yeah, you had to. And I tell you, I don't know, and I'd love to hear what y'all have to say, but for me, first of all, let's give the Bucks and the Suns some credit, because the NBA saw a large increase in viewership of these finals. They saw a large increase in viewership. And honestly, other than Game 1 and Game 3, which was a blowout, every game of this series had me on the edge of my seat. Every single game had me on the edge of my seat. Zeke.
Yeah, I think that no matter what team you were rooting for, no matter how how you were feeling, or whatever the case may be, you couldn't deny that this series was was a really good series. And as a basketball fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see a good NBA Finals games that's coming down to the wire. If you're an MVP caliber player as Giannis, we want to see you dominate. We want to see you hold your team down and do what you're supposed to do. So no matter what team you were rooting for, it's always good to see a good NBA match. I think that's one of the things we did see in this NBA Finals.
I tell you, I was so hyped during Game 5 when you good? Okay. I was so hyped during Game 5 when Holiday stole the ball. I mean, he bullied the ball,
Took it from him. He
Took it
literally took it from him.
bullied it, lobbed to Giannis, and Giannis dunking, and Chris Paul, who probably should have been ejected. Okay, probably should have been ejected. I won't go there, but we'll talk about it. Kind of a dirty play from Chris Paul, and Giannis dunked it. That's when I knew the momentum was over. Although that game was, maybe under a minute left, I knew that when the Bucks came home in Game 6, it was done. Because the Bucks play great at home, which we also referenced in that podcast.
But I will say this. I don't think Game 6 went as we thought it would.
It did not. It was too close to call.
Because, usually Middleton or Holiday, I say more Middleton than Holiday, but Middleton, that's when it's his time to shine. So I wasn't expecting. I was expecting a good 30, 35 from Middleton, and he would win Finals MVP. I'm happy about the result, but that's what I was thinking in my head that's the way things were going to go. And so, as far as Game 6 goes, that's what when it didn't happen, I was a little bit suspicious. Like, oh, here we go again. And I think I was talking to somebody. I'm like, I wouldn't be like 100% shocked if it did go to Game 7, just because Bucks like to make things hard. That's what history has taught me. If anything, it's not.
That is your favorite line, bro. That is your favorite line.
What the
Bucks like to make things.
They like to make things hard,
they
man.
do.
So it's just one of them things where I was hyped that we was going to Game 6 at home, and it was a chance for us to knock it out, especially 4 in a row. But I was suspicious. I was very suspicious and very skeptical.
I'll tell you like this, man. I knew after the first 5 minutes that was our game.
Game 6?
Yeah.
Game 6 was too close to
want
call
me
for me.
Want me to tell you why I knew?
Why?
Giannis had that look. Like he wasn't finna give up. If you looked at the way he was, that look he had, like, I don't care if don't nobody else show up tonight.
I'm showing up.
I'm showing up.
I'll give you that. I did see that.
And it showed in his play, and it
showed
and
in
it
his play.
carried through all the game. And without his mentality that he came in the game with, I think we'd be at Game 7.
Giannis's performance, to me, his games. First of all, his performance from a scary knee injury. Let's just remember that. But Giannis's performance in Game 6 has to go down in history as arguably one of the greatest NBA Finals performances put on.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, it did.
Giannis came there with the mentality that it's a must win. It was a do or die. Although the Bucks were up 3-2, Giannis never let up. He started hitting free throws. He started posterizing players. He played defensively, and he reminded everyone just why he was arguably one of the top 5 players now in the game of basketball. So Giannis took over the game. There was no doubt in my mind that he was the MVP, just like we talked about last week. Middleton came up clutch. We got to give Middleton credit. Although Middleton has his streaky moments, Middleton is clutch when he needs to be. He makes big shots. He gets us back in the game. But Giannis's Game 6 performance, arguably one of the best I've seen in the last 10 years. Easily. So when we talk go ahead.
But that just goes to show, like, the mentality that he has is going to set a new tone for the league, though.
Oh,
if
my
you don't
God.
realize it.
They're already conspiring against the Bucks. Have y'all been paying attention?
What do you mean conspiring?
The Lakers are talking about picking up DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry to add with Drummond, AD, and LeBron. They're talking about taking less money for a chance to win a championship with the Lakers. It's like the Bucks didn't just win a title a week ago.
No, it's everybody know they got to come correct next year. Because the Bucks don't need a third star to beat you.
That not only do they not need a third star, I think that I think we've learned from just past NBA teams. You can't just. I would use the Lakers as an example. You can't just throw a bunch of guys on a team and thinking, "Hey, this is it. We're gonna win it now." Even with Brooklyn, like it's one of the things. Like you can't just throw a bunch of stars. And I think one of the things about the Bucks that people have forgotten about, especially in this super team era, is that you need chemistry
to win.
You need players to kind of feed off each other. So, Giannis being dominant in the paint and being dominant in his play for Game 6, you still have to watch out for Chris Middleton. Drew Holiday didn't do it on the offensive end, so he's doing it on the defensive end. And, they talk about PJ Tucker talked about in his speech, they was talking about we need some dogs. Like, we are dogs. Like, we got the dogs. Like, we got the tough guy.
That ain't how he said it. You got to say how he said it.
I don't know how he said it.
They told me to come here.
Oh, yeah.
Because they needed a dog. And I'm looking like,
By then, he's probably
got dogs.
By then, he's probably going to fail every breathalyzer
Every
test.
sobriety test.
Every single one for weeks to come.
He was
They have
like-
a PJ Tucker challenge now. Did y'all see it?
He like, we got dogs.
They have
I just had to show them how to be dogs.
PJ Tucker was the highlight of the party. The
Listen.
PJ Tucker
But,
challenge,
but
y'all,
he wasn't lying though, man.
is you get a bottle of wine and you just take it to the head
Oh,
to
you
see how
chug it?
much you can chug. And that's going around on Instagram and it's actually gone
that's for the
viral.
idiots. But yeah, Tucker was right though. Even though he was a little under the influence,
I don't know.
He was celebrating.
he was correct.
He was
The
right.
Dogs, the Bucks have a team full of dogs.
You know-
Giannis in himself is a dog, but he's a superstar dog.
Yeah, it was a great series. I enjoyed it. Those first two games, I think, had us all a little on edge. You go back and listen to previous episodes. We all, after game two, most of us were like, we just need to win a game right now because it didn't look good. Now let's not act like we didn't because the tapes don't lie, and the tapes are there 2 weeks ago episode. And I think as we were going to game three, there was urgency, but we knew that the Bucks are a great home team. I think Zeke talked about it a lot. It is hard to beat the Bucks at home.
Hard.
And I think what people like Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, and everyone else, the seasonal fans that just became Bucks fans a week or two ago, figured out that the Milwaukee fan base makes a difference in those games. Devin Booker scored 10 points in game three.
Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah.
He came back in game four and stepped it up. Game six, Booker was so discombobulated. They were in his head. He could not stop Holiday. He tried. Holiday locked that man down. Now, you can't tell by points, but the fan base of
I
the
can tell
Bucks
by
really
points.
helped.
Because we got dogs in the crowd. We got dogs.
You know what? And this is a city I want to commend us because, you know, we yell, we're loud, but I don't think we crossed the line of being obnoxious and
We're emotional.
That's a new Buck shirt we need, y'all.
What?
What's that?
We got dogs.
We got dogs. I'm pretty
I'm
sure
sure it's
somebody
out
already
there.
did
I'm
it.
sure it's out there.
You think it's out there already?
I'm sure it's out there.
Are you kidding me? Let's
I need my trademark money,
I'll
too.
Google as Zeke is finished.
But
We,
it's just-
we got dogs.
It's just one of them things where, you know, the city being put on notice, like, man, they have a really great fan base, and that's what you kept hearing amongst these
out there.
amongst these commentators and people who've never actually been to Milwaukee and sat inside the Bradley Center, because guys like Stephen A, they don't come here unless it's a big event like the NBA Finals. Maybe Major League Baseball might have some type of if we make it to the World Series, they'll have some type of heavy commentator here. But you know, for people who never been to Milwaukee and they come here and see our fans, seeing we not doing nothing crazy, but seeing like we just really loud and really passionate about our team, I think that's nice for the city.
I think it is, but I also think that when you talk about the finals and how I used to be, and maybe because our team never been there, I used to be one of those type of fans that would say, well, home court doesn't matter. Teams just need to play better. But seeing how Giannis and Middleton, and even though, and some would argue that Holiday still wasn't Holiday in that series. He still didn't give us the Drew Holiday moments, right? He gave us some big plays.
But that's what people got to realize. Like, he didn't even play to his full capacity
No,
that
he
he's
didn't play his
capable
best.
of. And we got another season coming up, y'all.
In 3 months.
Y'all know what time it is
In
next
3
year.
months. He was actually the lead scorer today on our god-awful team USA. He was the lead
Don't
scorer
even
today.
talk about
Was
them.
he?
Yes,
'Cause
he was.
That's
Oh,
their
yeah.
problem,
Yeah,
too.
he was.
They ain't got no dogs.
So the
They
Bucks,
shouldn't need dogs.
They really shouldn't. The Bucks. I think one thing to say about that, though, I think America, or the world basketball is not what it used to be. Back in the Jordan era, they had the best players. As we can see now with the NBA, the world has talented players.
No. You want me to tell you what the USA problem is?
What is their
What?
problem?
And if you don't notice this, then you don't know no basketball.
Well,
They don't got no inside presence.
so
And you
it's
got to
funny-
remember.
It's
and
funny you say
and
that.
You got to remember.
They just picked up McGee.
Look
Is it
at
McGee?
look at all the international teams. They got Gasols. They got the Scolas.
Rudy Gobert.
They got the Rudy Gobert.
Giannis is.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
got the power inside. If you don't got that powerful
They-
impact in the paint, they're gonna be cooked every game. I'm telling you
I
right
think
now.
They'll still win the gold because I don't think they want to leave home. They can still win the gold. I don't think they want to come back here winning bronze.
I don't trust them.
Silver.
I don't trust them.
I guess for me, I don't really care. I just don't want Holiday and
Somebody
Middleton to get hurt.
Somebody that's a
I just don't want my players to get hurt.
somebody that's an inside presence need to make a statement and
I
go
don't
ahead
care.
and join the USA team and show them what it's about.
I don't really care.
Well, wow. Well, first of all,
I don't.
You're an American. I assume
I
you're an
am,
American.
but I'm just saying, as long as our top two guys who have to play October 19th, the opening day of the NBA, don't get hurt. Dude, remember, they've been going since, when did the season start? Last October?
We started in November.
November?
Whenever it started, they've been going nonstop. They just won the championship. Now they're playing again, and the USA season is what? The month of August?
So they'll get some time off. They might not get as much time,
I'm
but
saying, I just don't want my players to get hurt.
I mean,
I
see,
get it.
I see what you're saying, and you know,
but they're not playing a lot of minutes though.
They're
They're
not.
not.
It's like an
That's
all-star.
fair.
It's like
That's
an all-star team. You
A
give
bad
everybody.
one.
It's not a
76 points? Or they scored that in the
it's
first
not a
half.
it's not a bad
quarter.
one. The problem is if they don't get somebody in the inside to make
They
a
got
presence
Bam.
and get Bam is not a inside player.
He is.
Everybody is finesse on that team. Look at everybody on that team. They all about finesse. Ain't nobody
know
on that
what?
team about power.
You know, you're right. You're right about that. But
Draymond
that's what.
Green?
Draymond Green is a.
Draymond Green is
I almost said something about him.
almost. No, but what I'm saying is, like, I looking back at the USA team or whatever, and I agree with you, Dre, that I don't want my players to get hurt. I don't think they will because I'm not saying they're not gonna go as hard, but I don't see them. I see them kind of like when you on the USA team, you're just kind of like, hey, this is an experience. You get your gold medal, something nice to put on your stat sheet. But with this team, I don't know. Like what you just said is very interesting, Kesey, and I think they tried to correct that when they added McGee or whatever his name is. What's his name?
Really?
Tall, lanky dude.
JaVale McGee?
JaVale
Yeah,
McGee.
McGee.
But he's not.
They added him to try to fix that issue that you're talking about. Now he's 7 foot plus, but he's not no scorer like that. And so when you talk about they don't have a middleman. I think they know that, and they're trying to correct it. But
they don't have a dog. That's what they missing too. If they don't
dogs
get that,
don't make the USA team.
But you got to have one dog. Look at all the USA teams. They have
Who's
one
their
dog.
Who?
Think about the LeBron era. Who was the dog?
LeBron, they definitely didn't have a dog. They had a bunch of Negroes.
They had Melo. Melo
wasn't no dog.
Melo is
Time
a perfect international player
Time
Yeah,
out.
because he can shoot
because
the
he
jumper.
powers down and he's
No.
a dog in the paint.
Well, here's the thing. Back LeBron's era, back then, those players were in their prime. We were on traditional schedule, and literally you had every best player. You had LeBron, you had Melo, you had KD. I believe you had Steph, you had Wade, you had hitters. This era now, you have KD.
You had,
On
you had
the rest of the team.
Yeah.
You had KD. You got Bradley Beal. You got Jason
Bradley
Tatum.
Bill is no longer on the team. He'd have to leave because of COVID.
They got
protocol.
Zach LaVine.
They got
They got Zach LaVine.
who phone doesn't even work, right?
What you mean?
You missed that joke. So
Oh.
you got to check out KD's Instagram. Zach LaVine had an iPhone, and he said he's overheard saying to KD, "Can I use your phone?" KD said, "Man, all that money you ain't got no international minutes." So they was kind of clouded.
What?
Yeah, they was kind of clouded about that. So that's why I said that.
I missed that.
But if you look at it, Steph's not playing. LeBron's not playing. AD's
But
not
that
playing.
era not supposed to be playing.
It's
It's supposed to be this era of players that's in there right now.
It is
But
supposed to be this era, but let me tell you something.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. 1 second, Zeke, and then you
ahead.
dive in. This era of players, most of them are replacement players. They have replaced players that have either declined or have either gotten hurt in the midst of going to play for Team USA. Now, Dame is on the team, but Dame has to audition for his next team, so he definitely not trying to get hurt. So you got KD. We're going to pull up the roster, but go ahead, Zeke, to your point.
I was just gonna say that because I was thinking about this. I didn't really watch the game from earlier today, but the fact that they lost 70,
6 to 83.
76 to 83 to me is embarrassing
It is
because
embarrassing.
even though their team, even though these guys aren't the number one guy, number two guy on their team, maybe, but these are still NBA players.
Yeah.
These are still superstars and
But at the same
superstars
time-
in their own right.
But my own thing is though, like you let Evan Fournier score 30 ball on y'all.
And watch he get drafted.
And-
watch
no,
they be
Ev-
looking at him.
Who?
Evan Fourier. What?
He
played
played
for the-
already. He played
That's
for
what I'm
Boston.
saying.
He played for Boston, but
Why-
you
He played
wouldn't
for
even know he was
Boston.
on the court the whole Boston season, did
Watch
you?
how, what I'm saying is watch how his stock increases now.
Most
Oh,
definitely.
No,
Watch how
but
his
just
stock
here's the
increases.
thing though. Him, okay, let's these international guys. Like when the USA was playing back in the day and it was playing against the Dream Team.
Yep.
The Dream Team was playing. We didn't know international players.
We did not.
We did not
That's what I was saying.
know international like back to what you were saying before, you did say that. International players were just good over there. Now the cream of the crop is going to the NBA. They're coming back with these NBA skills, and they're introducing it into their teammates into running a good offense or to say, hey, this is what we need to do here. This is how they kind of move. A perfect example of that is Luka. Like Luka is literally carrying his team like he do the Mavs, but he know these guys. He can,
They play together.
they play
year
together.
round.
Yeah, so it's just amazing to me that even though these guys probably are a replacement for the guys that USA really wanted, but it's still these are NBA caliber players. These are superstars in their own right. So the fact that you got Damian Lillard, KD, Jason Tatum just from three alone, and they don't have 25 apiece,
Right.
and
Right.
KD in foul trouble, and
Right.
I just know
With
this.
Pop as the coach.
I just know this. KD has the opportunity every single time to say, hey, I'm the number two, LeBron's number one. And he fails at it every single time.
You mean you reverse that? You mean KD has a chance to say he's number one? And
No,
LeBron-
to say he's number two. Because if you talk to some people, they say Steph is number two. And,
Oh, yeah.
KD's number three.
Yeah.
thing-
So my thing is,
The problem is though, if you ain't got nobody rebounding and throwing them outlet passes, that's what made the USA teams good. They had somebody who got rebounds and outletted the ball. That's what got Jordan and Vince Carter's and Dwayne Wade. That's what got them buckets.
I disagree.
The USA team plays better when they're fast breaking. They're not good in the half court.
So here's the roster: Bam Adebayo, Bradley Beal, who's no longer playing, Devin Booker, who's not even in the right headspace, Kevin Durant, who shouldn't be playing because of injury scares, but whatever.
Who?
Kevin Durant, Jeremy Grant from the Pistons.
really?
Right. Hold up. Draymond Green, who is always been somewhat mediocre in my opinion. Holiday from the Bucks, who didn't have a great series. He had great plays, right? He had great plays. You got Keldon Johnson. Go ahead and say it. Who?
Keldon who?
I
You
don't
got
know.
Zach
Hey,
LaVine.
but
You got hold up, Dame Lillard, Kevin Love, who hasn't had a great season and he's no longer playing. JaVale McGee, who replaced Kevin Love, Chris Middleton, and Jay Tatum. That's really not. I mean, to be fair, they should still be winning, but is that really a all-star roster?
Why does it have to be an all-star roster? It doesn't have to be an
That's
all-star
what the
roster.
Team USA has strategically been. It's literally been all-stars.
But like you said, this international teams got their best players too. But the U.S. is slipping right now.
I mean, now that you
Somebody got to step up, man.
I'm not gonna lie here. When I listen to the roster, like the full roster, they're beatable.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
They're
And
beatable.
you look at
Aren't they,
it.
though?
Look at that roster. Who on that roster can dominate the paint?
I mean, like
KD?
man,
KD
no,
cannot
no,
dominate
he's
the
not.
paint.
Now
Against the foreign players?
that you saying that, Kesey, it's man, we finna. I don't know.
You think Bam is gonna dominate the paint?
No, I didn't say Bam. I said you don't think KD against foreign players can dominate in the paint?
See, KD is a perfect foreign or international player too, but you gotta have somebody who can protect your paint. Rudy Gobert should not be doing reverse dunks on Bam Adebayo.
Right, Rudy pissed. Rudy said, "I'm gonna show y'all my money and my value." To
You got the
NBA."
other big dude on that team. I can't even think of his name now. He's throwing jump hooks over Bam, man. I'm like, dude, for real?
Listen, so Team USA needs to get their
Jesus
act
Christ,
together.
man.
That wasn't even on the script, but that was a perfect thing for us to insert there. But let's jump back to the Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. What happened to the Suns? They were up 2-0. They blew a 2-0 lead. Mind you, before you both comment, Chris Paul has never won a series in which he was up 2-0. He has lost
First player
every
in NBA
single
history.
one. What the heck happened to the Phoenix Suns, and what does this mean to Chris Paul's legacy?
I don't think it's taken away from anything. It would, if he had won it, it'd just add it. It didn't take away from anything because Chris Paul is still one of the most prolific point guards we've had in NBA history.
Baby,
Cry-
flopper.
I can't. I tell you, we're gonna let
Whistle
Zeke finish.
looker.
Let Zeke finish. But my respect level for him has went to.
I
a
don't
whole
understand.
diminished
I don't
level.
understand why though.
I'll tell
Because
you when you're done.
because the thing that Chris Paul was doing, he has been doing for the last 10 years.
Maybe it's different when it's against your team, though.
Maybe it's different because it's your team. Because because and the thing about it is, not only does Chris Paul do it, plenty other NBA players are doing, and they're gonna look into this next season, where you are making someone foul you because of their momentum or because of whatever the case may be, and you acting all extra with the fouls and stuff like that. Like the thing about Chris Paul is, in that I don't knock him for, he's a competitor. And sometimes when you're a competitor, you have to do things that aren't favored, which is Giannis is behind me. I know his momentum is going to carry him on top of me. Let me get this jumper real quick off.
That's how players get hurt.
That's how players get hurt, and that's the way the basketball is played.
But that's
Because
how
your
he almost broke his arm like that doing that to LeBron, though. Did you see
Yes,
that?
I seen that. But that's the risk you have to take. So I'm not mad at Chris Paul for being a competitor. As far as their team, they'll be fine. Will they be back next year for the NBA Finals? No way in hell.
Phoenix.
No way in hell.
What happens to Chris Paul?
What happens to Chris Paul is if he's smart,
He opts in.
He better take that $44 million.
Chris Paul can get more than that. So
He can get more than 44.
17th season coming
Who we
up,
gonna get
bro.
44 from?
I don't know. But I know he can get more than that.
You think Chris Paul can get $50
He
million?
can get a max.
He can't get a max because he can only get that with his team.
No,
right
that's
now.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is because they were talking about this all throughout the finals. If Chris Paul leaves, he's gonna opt out and he can get a max.
Somebody's gonna.
Let me ask you a question. We talked about this at the beginning of the season. Is Chris Paul worth that max? Yes, he is. Why? He makes your team better. Now, do I think the Lakers are a bad fit for him? Yes, I do.
Well, they can't afford him unless he wants to be a vet minimum player.
Why do you think he can't fit?
Because Chris Paul needs, like, the Phoenix Suns were a perfect fit for him. They've never won anything. They've never been anywhere. So when Chris Paul is yelling at you, that's just the truth. So when Chris Paul is yelling at you, telling you to listen to him, you have to listen because he's been here. He's done things.
But just think about,
like when he was in Houston. Hold on a second. When he was in Houston, James Harden wasn't trying to hear that because, like, nigga, I done did this too. What are you talking
but
about?
James Harden was the same person who said Giannis don't do nothing but dribble the ball and dunk.
And you see where he at the fashion show in France, finna get arrested with a little baby.
Listen, Chris Paul, if you're saying he's going to get another max contract, that will take him into season 21. So you're saying somebody's going to sign him for 5 years, $250 million?
I'm not saying 250.
But you gotta sign
the max he can sign for is like 100 and something, like 100 mil plus.
That's for his current team.
No, that's not for his current team.
So remember, when he was traded, the current team owns the bird rights for Chris Paul. Right? I believe they can offer him the most because his trade.
Because he has a player option, they allowed to extend his offer
He
for
has a
another
player
2 more
option.
years after that.
He can opt out and become an unrestricted free agent.
And then sign a max contract, but it won't be what the max is, though.
No, he can't make more from anybody than the Phoenix Suns long term, I believe.
Yes.
Long term. Now, if he wants to go somewhere and sign a 2-year short term deal, of course he can do that. But y'all really believe in year 17 that Chris Paul is going to make $50 million?
Yep.
He's making 44 right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Who?
I don't know who.
his best bet is to let that contract go and maybe join the Bucks.
So let's talk about Keys. Let's get your perspective on the Phoenix Suns blowing a 2-0 lead. What do you think happened, man? Were the Bucks just that? And be objective, okay? We're all Bucks fans here. We're excited. Be objective. Did Phoenix blow it?
What I'm gonna say is, the Bucks and Phoenix are both two great home teams. The Phoenix did what they were supposed to do at home to start the series, and the Bucks came home and did what they were supposed to do. And then I said, the team that gets the win on the road first is going to win this series.
You did say that.
You said what?
The team that gets a win on the road first is going to win this series.
Yeah.
And the Bucks did it first. So therefore, the momentum carried over to Game 6, and that's how the Bucks beat them. It really shouldn't have been a 4-0. It really is not technically four. Well, it is 4 games. They beat them 4 straight.
Four straight.
They beat them 4 straight, but it was expected. I expected Phoenix to come win their first 2 home games and the Bucks to come win their first 2 home games. And then it was going to be the best of 3 to me.
I remember we was talking about that on the previous episode where I was like, I expected the Bucks to lose Game 5.
I think we all did.
I didn't.
I think
Kesey didn't.
I didn't.
Kesey did it because I was like, they're gonna lose Game 5. Kesey's like, no, they're not.
He did say that, and I think I said the Bucks need to win Game 5 because you don't want to have to come and try to fight down 3-2.
And I was like, they're gonna lose Game 5 because they had one at home and they were pretty good at home.
But I knew the Bucks would get one on the road.
I thought it would be Game 7.
But I knew.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too.
I thought it would be Game 7.
I knew they wouldn't go into Game 7. I knew they wouldn't go into Game 7. And when they won Game 5, I said it's over with.
I'm glad it didn't
Tone,
happen.
come to the mic. Go ahead, Zeke.
I'm glad it didn't happen. But I'm just like, that's why I was like, I was talking about like last week about, like like sports miracles don't happen to the Bucks. They don't happen to them. They don't happen in Milwaukee.
They don't happen to the Packers. They don't happen to none of our teams.
They happen to the Packers.
Oh, he's happy. He's so glad football season's up. Tony, I'm gonna ask you a question in a minute. But this dude over here is so geeked about the Packers arguing right now. But let's stick to basketball. Keep on. Let me tell you something. The Dallas Cowboy memes that I done got already, it don't make no sense.
Okay.
It don't make no sense.
The last time the boys won the Super Bowl.
Stop.
All right, you go. Anyways, my thought is this: that that's why like this was so like amazing, as far as like what happened. The four straight don't happen to the Bucks. It just don't happen.
Well, to be technical, I mean, it kind of does. Didn't they go down 2-0 to the Hawks?
Yeah.
Did we go down 2-0?
No, it was 1-1. It was 1-1.
Okay.
But it shouldn't have went. It shouldn't have did that. That shouldn't have happened.
It should have been 4-1.
But just think though, we did that to
sweet.
Miami too. Wasn't it?
No, Miami's 4 straight.
Miami, we swept.
That's what I'm saying. We won 4 straight on Miami too, though.
It was 4, but Miami is not the Miami we thought. At least y'all thought they were. I thought they were good, but I was wrong. But anyway, I brought Tone to the table. This is our executive producer. Y'all don't hear from him much, but he's a longtime Bucks fan. So man, we just wanted to give you a chance to tell 94 Feet Nation, man, what that means to you with the Bucks winning the title, bro.
I mean, it feels good not to have PTSD. Because like y'all was just saying before I got on the mic, we not used to winning. Mm-hmm. Like, we get there, we build great teams. It was like, nah.
Yeah.
Did you ever once doubt that this would happen?
Yes.
Why?
New Jersey had a super team.
Yes.
Well, not my bad. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn had a super team.
Brooklyn had a super team. So when
I know what you're saying, Tone, but don't get his man. Don't get his man.
No, they did. Like, if you look at it on paper.
All right, on paper.
If you look at the whole finals, like when we got to the playoffs, you look at it on paper, it was LA and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's what it was built to be.
Mm-hmm.
When LA didn't make it, everybody was like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
And then when we
Thank you for saying heck.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I was like, what the heck is going on here? But when Brooklyn got put out, and it was KD's fault, let's keep it a buck here, then we was like, dude, there's nothing that can stop us.
Remember,
that.
Even though you're riding me here, remember I said the winner of the Brooklyn-Milwaukee series would win the championship.
He did say that.
I said that all season.
But what did I say?
Go ahead, Tom.
So, being the fact that it was Phoenix, one thing I noticed right away is the media got on Chris Paul's side.
Quick.
From the jump.
Quick.
It was like even when you
Bucks were the underdog.
Like you didn't even talk about the Bucks. They say it was Chris Paul. It was his story of he's been here for the longest. He's one of the all stars who still don't have a ring. It was all about Phoenix, even to the point where it was like Phoenix hasn't been here since Barkley and
93.
They don't got a ring. They just constantly kept bringing it up. I was a Barkley fan when that happened. That shit hurted. I know I just messed it all up. I was there.
When he it's
personal,
a picture.
bro. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Shit happens.
It's a picture of Barkley doing this,
Right.
rubbing his finger, and you knew he would never be there again. He
Right.
was just like,
He just knew it. So
The views and opinions of those are not those of Andre Xavier Douglas.
I was hurt because I didn't know who to go for because I wanted Phoenix to get there, but I didn't want it to be against Milwaukee because I wanted Milwaukee to get theirs too.
I felt this. I felt the exact same way
Yeah.
because I love a good underdog story.
And they're
Chris
both
Paul,
underdogs.
they're both underdogs. I'm like, if this wasn't the Bucks, Chris
It
Paul,
was
I'm
Chris
rooting.
Paul.
I'm
I've been
Chris
right
Paul,
there with
all
them.
time.
But that's the thing that made Giannis play the way he played.
And I was going to
because-
say that because they wouldn't give him his flowers.
And all they kept saying is, Giannis can't do this. Giannis can't do that. Giannis won't do this. Giannis will not do that. And all Giannis did was prove everybody wrong. Even though there was flaws to his game, he pulled up and showed out on everything that he was good
wasn't
at.
It wasn't necessarily Giannis who had to show up and show out. It was everybody else. Because up to this point, those people who don't have shows that I've talked to about it, they said the Milwaukee Bucks is Giannis and a bunch of role players because we wouldn't win on the road.
We wouldn't win without Giannis.
Until
Atlanta doesn't count.
But that was the one that lit the fire for most people, though, because when Giannis went down, and
We were done.
we were done.
We were done.
We
No
were done.
Giannis.
On paper, we were done.
No Giannis, no championship.
Right, we were done, and then Drew and Middleton showed you why they get the big bucks.
Oh,
That's
man.
true.
They showed the heck out of us because I think we apologized to
Right.
Chris Middleton after the
I had
Eastern
to
Conference
stop my
Championship.
brother. My brother has always called Middleton a bum. Like, he can't get the job done. He's inconsistent. He'll be hot one day and cold for the next 2 days. I mean, this is
That's
just
some
what my
Wisconsin
brother.
weather.
Yeah, I mean, that was what my brother would say. But then when we had no Giannis, and he's out here putting in work, and Drew's putting in work, it was like, you know what, bro, you can't talk about them for at least a week.
All right,
And it was
Tone,
like-
go ahead, plug your show. What's your podcast?
Oh,
that
the Death
folks-
Fresh show.
Death Fresh show on the TDR network. How often can they catch that show?
Weekly.
Weekly. TDR podcast, right? No. Death Fresh show, right?
Death Fresh
The
show.
Death Fresh show. Tone
Make
is
sure
doing-
y'all check it out.
Tone is doing big things here in the city of Milwaukee. He has over, I want to say, 50 podcasts on his network.
I'm gonna let y'all know right now, if you don't like certain words, don't tune in.
Well, I mean, they still tune in here, so it's
but
all
you got
good.
one or two we might open the door with. Because I just went on a whole rant about Jabari Parker, so I still got beef with Dog.
Well, we appreciate you opening the door for us to be your first official NBA sports show on this
I've
network.
been waiting for y'all to be
And,
honest with
and
you.
our season finale, we wanted to make sure that folks knew who the producer was who's working with us behind the scenes. So,
No problem, man.
so thank you for showing us some love, man, and enjoy your pizza over there. So, back to what we were talking about with the Suns and the Bucks, man. And again, we're talking about Chris Paul and his legacy. The reason why I say it's damaging to his legacy, because if it was Giannis, they would have been all over Giannis. I didn't recognize, outside of myself, because I had some hard moments on Giannis too. We all have. I didn't recognize how much the media really didn't like him.
I don't want to say the media don't like
But they
Giannis.
was all over him.
I don't want to
Listen.
say that. I say that Giannis gets a lot of flack because of his limitation when it comes to basketball skills.
in IQ.
Not IQ, basketball skills.
But y'all keep saying his IQ is not there. His IQ
It
is
is
there.
now. It is now.
It's been there. He just
It's
haven't
been
had
there.
the.
You agree with me that it wasn't. Don't
No,
try
that was
to
not me.
change it.
Did I say that?
Keys.
I did not say
Yes,
he had
did.
bad. No,
Yes,
I did not say he had bad
Yes,
IQ.
he did. Go listen
That
to
was him.
I didn't say nothing.
It was one of y'all agreed.
It
with
was
me.
him.
One of
It
y'all
wasn't
agreed
me.
with
You the one said.
No.
Go ahead. Finish, Keys. Go ahead.
Listen, if we didn't win, they
would've
would have
been all
talked
over
about
it.
everything Giannis couldn't do for the next 22 years.
22 years. I mean, they talked about, and I'm just listening because as your team goes to the finals, you're on TV, you're on the radio. Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks don't have a chance. If the Brooklyn Nets were healthy, they wouldn't even be here. Giannis's knee injury, he got lucky. You know, Coach Bud can't get the job done. Which we have to give him his flowers, which we'll talk about in a few moments, because he made a lot of coaching adjustments to make us win Game 5
But
and 6.
it took to the game 5 and 6 for him to make those correct. I would say Game 4 is when he started making adjustments, and it made a difference.
I tell you, man, get back on Coach Bud in a second, but Chris Paul, to me, I lost a lot of respect for him for a lot of reasons. Number one, did y'all see him pull a Detroit Pistons? Did y'all see
just
him
walked off the stage,
walk off
walk
the
the
court
court.
after the game? I don't want to hear about, well, he just lost the finals. He is the president or vice president, you have to fact check me, of the Players Association.
He's the president.
He's the president of he negotiates their union labor rights.
Mm-hmm.
You show this team some respect by at least shaking up. You ain't got to hug and pull a Monty Williams. What the heck was he thinking? If you were my coach and you visited the other team's locker room, goodbye.
No, it's showing respect, man.
I mean,
They
it's a
earned
show
it.
of respect, but you don't have to be that respectful, right? That's
you
what
do.
I'm saying.
Yeah, you do.
Chris Paul on the court, show some love. Shake up and give some credit because you got outplayed. Chris Paul cried. Listen, I'm a LeBron fan. I'm a Kobe fan. God rest his soul. Chris Paul cries more than both of them put together.
But that's why he couldn't shake their hand, because he had to go home and cry. What did you think he was going home to do?
He has taught the Phoenix Suns how to be crybabies. Devin Booker, crybaby. And the dirty
light-skinned it.
play, it could be argued that Chris Paul should have been ejected in Game 5
I don't
for
think so.
pushing Giannis in the air. If you look up the definition of a flagrant foul, it is unnecessary contact. And that was unnecessary contact. So for me, Chris Paul legacy, it does take a hit. He doesn't get a 5-year deal. That takes him into season 21. You sign that $44 million. You try it again. But if you don't win a championship, you can't be, in my opinion, a top point guard to ever play the game, because you have to win the big one.
I don't think
That is very harsh, and I want you to really think about that.
Yeah,
I'm just doing what they do with Giannis.
I know.
Because-
I get what you're saying.
I'm just
but,
doing what they do to
but
LeBron.
At the end of the day,
This is different. Go ahead.
No, let me ask you this. How is that harsh when saying because LeBron hasn't won 6, he's not the GOAT? How is that harsh?
One of the greatest.
I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
One of the greatest scorers in the NBA does not have a championship. One of the greatest point guards in the NBA history does not have a championship.
Help 94 Feet Nation. Who are they?
But I'm not gonna.
John Stockton and Karl Malone.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
So
Okay.
when you talk about he doesn't have a championship, it takes away from his legacy. That's why that's
It
kind of
takes
harsh.
away from his legacy. I mean, he'll still be great. Obviously, I'm being emotional right now.
Brian Russell ain't got no.
He'll still be great. He'll still be great. But as we talk, when we talk about LeBron's greatness, what's the first thing y'all go to? Jordan 6-0. Not Keith. Jordan 6-0. So
I'll
it's
say it in a
not,
minute.
It's
But
not
he only
fair-
made it 6 times.
It's not fair for us to
6-0
say
though.
that Chris Paul's legacy doesn't take a hit if he doesn't win the title. It absolutely does.
I get. Hold on, but I get people are going to take a shot at his legacy for what happened this finals. But at the end of the day, people have got to give that man some credit, because Phoenix was not even a playoff team before
They
he
were
came.
not. They were
And
not.
people got to realize he turned that team and that franchise into some winners.
I will give you that.
And
I will give you that.
if that don't boost your legacy up a little bit, just you turn some people that shouldn't even been in the playoffs into some real live winners.
Because I was going back to your point. Houston gave him away. They was like, Chris Paul is done. He's going to Houston. He's going to
But
finish
that
his
was
career.
James Harden, though. James Harden was behind
I
him.
know what I'm saying is, but for them to trade him to OKC and for him to turn that team around and have them make the playoffs, and they almost beat Houston in the bubble is something amazing. He can't again. They send him out to Phoenix. Again, he turns a team that was in the bubble around to a championship team. So the fact that, and let's not sit here and say like Chris Paul was not, he had a couple games where it's like, man, come on, Chris Paul, step your game up. He had like 22, 29 in game 6.
But also, I want to give a shout out to the Phoenix Suns and all of their staff over there, because I've never seen a franchise that takes players in and can keep them healthy the way the Phoenix Suns do. Remember
That's
what
true.
they did for Grant Hill?
Yeah, that's true too.
Because Grant Hill was done.
He was done.
And he went to Phoenix and was able to finish off his career and not look like
A
Boo
bomb.
boo the
a
fool.
bum or a fool out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know what they got in the water in Phoenix, but
So-
I want some of that when I retire.
I was listening to Stephen A. Smith the day after. I don't know why I was doing that, but Stephen A. Smith said he wouldn't be
Jackass A.
surprised.
Smith.
Stephen A. Smith said he wouldn't be surprised, and many other commentators, that if something comes up about Chris Paul not being 100% during the finals, because they had already started to say there was some issues with his right hand or something like that. But nevertheless, Chris Paul, he did make Phoenix better. You give him his flowers, but he does need to win a championship to solidify, not to solidify his greatness, but to cap it, I guess. So in this same argument here, or this same recap, were we too hard on Coach Bud, man? Does Coach Bud deserve his flowers? Did he come
No, we
through
wasn't
for
too
us?
hard on Bud. Because it took us to get on Bud for him to realize that he needed, because he had to listen to the podcast or something.
Did you see the parade sign? Somebody in the parade.
Somebody had a fire Bud or something like that. Fire Bud.
sign in the parade. In the championship parade. After the
But-
man that just delivered us a shot.
He
Well, first-
didn't deliver us a championship. Giannis delivered us a championship. And don't nobody can forget that, okay? America, don't you forget that. That was all Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just in case you people don't know how to say his name out there. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Whether it's Antetokounmpo, Mamububuto, whatever it is, I'm not gonna dismiss the coach.
You can't. You can't.
Because Bud did make the adjustments. I wish he would have made them sooner. I wish he would have done a lot of things differently. But we already said once we got to the finals, he bought himself another 2-3 years.
They're going to give him. If coaches could get max contracts, he would get one.
He's gonna get another 5-year extension.
He got a 4-year extension coming up automatically.
Exactly.
All
So
day. All day.
and I'm not mad at that because be
I
honest
am.
with you, once let's say we lost in these finals, where else we gonna go?
Right.
Who else was we gonna get?
who we gonna get?
Who else we gonna get?
Becky Hammond. And we already know how you feel about that.
Becky who? Nah, I'm saying. Shout out to Becky.
So it's just one of them things where like, who else was he gonna get to? So he was gonna be here regardless. I want to say give him his flowers. I think we need to be critical of him because adjustments came, but they came kind of late.
But now he knows the type of adjustments he has to make in order to win a championship. And I think this was a learning experience for him as well as all of the players on the Bucks. And that's why I feel the Bucks will be in the Eastern Conference Final at least next year.
Can the Buck go ahead?
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Now that we got this ring, we got these fantastic players. Does the value of Milwaukee increase in regards to wanting players to come here?
No.
Yes.
No. Because number one, here's why.
It depends, but go ahead.
Yeah, here's why it doesn't. Because right now, Giannis is a superstar, and we're going to get to that in a few moments. Tone, I can't see that clock running. What does those minutes up there say?
53.
Okay. Wow. And we have a couple things that we need to dig into, but Giannis is an all-star. He is. No doubt about it. He's the greatest thing to happen to Milwaukee since Kareem, right, in terms of basketball.
Yes.
He is still not a player, in my opinion, that attracts the big-name players to want to come here. And let's also think about this. The Bucks, and that was my next question to my partners here, is can the Bucks run it back? And before you answer, keep in mind, the Bucks are over the salary cap. Winning the NBA Finals put us over the salary cap because you have to pay out bonuses and things. The Bucks have no money to bring in max players. None. Okay? The Bucks probably can't afford PJ Tucker. They probably can't afford Bobby Portis because
I already heard they can't afford Bobby Portis.
okay, they can't afford either of those players. So potentially, we're losing two core pieces of our championship team. So I don't see big name players wanting to come here because, let's be honest, unless it's Dame, who are you giving up Holiday for? And unless it's another spot up shooter, who are you giving up Middleton for? And from what we know about the Bucks, we build through the draft. I remember John Hammond was at my Bucks party. Remember that? And he said, if we have the faith and the courage to own the future, and me and Zeke would say, man, we've been owning the future since we were 13. We're tired of that. So the Bucks can build with a lot of good role players, but big name players, nah.
Okay, so now that we got to that part, you don't think we'll be able to sign some of them veteran minimums now, like the Blake Griffins and,
Nope.
and the who else went over there? Jeff Green.
Nope.
Green.
So why would he leave Brooklyn, who can be fully healthy, to come to Milwaukee?
But as you can tell, they don't be fully healthy. So why wouldn't you join a team that's fully healthy and got great chemistry and just won an NBA championship? We haven't even got to that point yet, and you already knocking it.
Oh, because Dre's not a fan.
I'm not knocking anything.
You can't.
What I'm saying
but
is,
you can't knock
why?
it. You can't knock it till we get to the
Because the
situation,
reason why I
right?
bring that up
No.
is,
One second, because you don't do that. No. You don't get to do that and just.
I already
walk
know what
away.
that. No,
Why are you
no.
pointing at me? I didn't do
Both
that
of you. You said no fan, and you said already bringing it up. Let's not act like what America's saying. Okay, yeah, we're proud of this championship. We were there. We were at the parade. We were at the games. We're proud of it. But let's not act like half of America is saying the only reason it happened was because Brooklyn wasn't healthy. Let's not act like that. Let's not act like America isn't saying the only reason Phoenix went because LeBron wasn't healthy or Golden State wasn't healthy. So let's not have tunnel vision to what people really think.
But that's the killer part about it is these people keep saying the only reason Milwaukee is there is because Brooklyn was hurt. Who said the three of them together was going to have the right chemistry to beat the Bucks?
On paper. We're not saying
I know,
that.
but I get what you're saying. Now that's what I'm saying though. But what says that they would have beat the Bucks in the Bucks chemistry the way they played together? Because when they played together, they didn't play as good as people thought they was going to play.
I guess we'll never know.
Every super team does that their first year. Because when LeBron got to Miami that first year, it was a pretty rough ride.
But you got to remember
They should have won.
they've been so injured. It's like being in year one again next year.
It is true.
You know what I mean?
If they keep Kyrie. So I would hope, I am very interested in the offseason, but I am more interested in the Bucks offseason because PJ Tucker, we can't afford him. He was only making $7 million. He's going to command big money.
I don't think
It all depends on what else they can offer PJ. Because PJ may take a hit for 1 year to keep this together if he's guaranteed a higher payoff on the back end.
I was just gonna. So what I was gonna say was this. I think because of the way the East is right now, and the mess that is coming Philadelphia's way, because of the Kyrie situation in Brooklyn,
Right.
because of Boston looking like they're almost starting all over again.
Pre-KG.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where do I think the Bucks are good enough to run it back to at least the Eastern Conference Finals? Yes.
Agreed.
Do I think they can run it back as far as winning another title? I don't know. Just because, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. When the years after LeBron loses, he comes back with a vengeance.
He does.
And when he comes back with a vengeance, he has a focus like I've never seen before.
Especially because
But this year's a little different. LeBron is getting older. LeBron is obviously Hollywood now. So it's one of those things where I think we can run it back. As far as PJ contract, I think he'll resign. The big thing is probably Bobby Portis. I think we can throw him around like 10 or 11, maybe some incentives at the end of the year. But it's really up to the player because a lot of times when championships, when it comes to that type of stuff, players get big-headed. And then they see the dollar sign instead of it being a chemistry thing. Bobby Portis just fit.
he does.
PJ Tucker just fit. And so, like when you talk about max
That's
contracts,
good commentary, bro.
Can we bring in big names? I don't think we need any. I think we need a solid bench.
A deeper bench.
When I
Agreed.
ask that question, it's not necessarily like very next year. I'm thinking more like 2-3 years from now when people are, okay, my contract is up and Milwaukee's on the table, they can be like, they did win a championship and these 2 or 3 players are still here. I can work with them. Milwaukee can now be part of a negotiation.
I don't disagree with that.
That's what
All
we're
right,
getting at.
So what you're trying to say is Milwaukee going to be a part of the destinations when players start making their trips? Is that what you asking?
That's what I'm going. Because
Yes.
like, bring up the Chris Paul situation.
Because just think like New
I
York.
can see Chris coming here.
Really?
I could see Chris.
I wanted Chris here a long time ago.
Because
But
here's
yeah,
the thing. Chris is getting to that Gary Payton mode where it's like, look, who can get me a ring? I
Yeah.
will play what you need me to play as long as at the end of the day, I can say I have a ring.
I don't know.
You know what? That's the smart move for Chris. And Chris is very smart.
But y'all think he'll do
But
that
Chris
with Milwaukee?
Chris has an ego.
If you look
Huge.
he has an ego, but he's smart enough to know, look, I can't beat y'all. I see what y'all got. Let me see. I can fit in here.
And I can help
see
y'all
him.
beat Brooklyn.
I see him. If he's going to go that route, unfortunately, I would see him going to L.A. if he's going to go that
The
route.
Lakers.
Lakers would make sense if he's going to do it immediately. If he's not going to do it immediately, Milwaukee or Philly would be a good choice.
That's just true too.
One of
That's
the
true,
things
too.
that really sucks from a basketball world about our Bucks winning it is now the thought of super teams is going even further. It's going even further. I was reading something coming in here. Golden State turned down a trade for it was either Ben Simmons because they wanted too much. So the Warriors not only wanted Ben, they wanted to keep Clay, they wanted to keep Steph, they wanted to keep Draymond. So it's like now, wait a minute, small market teams are making noise. We're losing to Giannis. Giannis has a ring before several other players. So it's now the NBA now, not only are they running scared, we're getting back to the pre-LeBron Miami super team eras. We're getting back to
That's
the
what I was gonna say. I
KD
think it's the other
super
way
team
around.
eras.
I think we're getting back to the 80s and 90s ball where you had one superstar and a bunch of people that fit well with him.
And I think that's what Giannis made
And that's
possible
what,
again.
yeah, Giannis brung that's like, look, you don't have to stack three major players to get where we need to get to.
You know the thing about that though is, and Giannis said this a long time ago when they asked him, because there are there's a small selection of players who wouldn't mind coming to Milwaukee. Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind coming to Milwaukee. Just like when it was like a small select, I don't say a small selection, but like when LeBron went back to Cleveland or whatever, they was like, oh. And so it was one of them things where like, oh, I wouldn't mind going here, so on and so forth. Giannis said this. I'm not recruiting nobody. If you want to come here, that's great. If you want to be a part of this, that's great. I'm not recruiting nobody.
Yep, he's
And
officially Milwaukee.
So,
That's just like
That is like Milwaukee did.
so it's one of the things where like Giannis is like, if you want to come here, that'd be great. I would love for. That's when AD was a free agent, or they were talking about AD being traded. He was like, I would love for AD to come here. I would love for LeBron to come here. But I'm not recruiting
but
nobody.
My only problem is though, Giannis got a taste of what it feel like to be on top.
I want it.
Will
You know
that
what
change
though?
the perspective?
I want it this way. I want it this way. I want it to just be like, nah, you ain't got to come here if you don't want to. If you want to come here, that's cool. But if you don't got to come here, you want to. We gonna win regardless.
So
and I want him to have that mentality. It sounds like he gonna have that
I
mentality.
think he's always going to have it because
Yeah.
now that he proved that, look, it's me and my boys.
Exactly.
It's not my team and then you. It's either you a part of it or you against it. But it's not going to be the LeBron and I don't need a Robin.
Exactly.
I'm Superman.
Yep.
So
that's what I want.
so speaking, so that leads to our next thing. Giannis said in the post-game interview, did y'all hear what he said? I heard it word for word. He said, I could have went and built super teams and played my role somewhere else, but I stayed. Was that a shot at KD, LeBron, and others?
That's a shot at the league, period.
Yeah.
Keith, what you think?
That's a shot at the league. That's letting people know, like, get a team built around you, and you can still win.
Mm-hmm. Zeke?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I mean,
Balance the league back out. The league is
Big
too
fact.
structured, man. Like, you got this set of teams that's going to be good, and you got this set of teams that you know that's
But you do know that part of that is your boy's fault.
no.
it
Why?
is.
How do y'all figure that when KD and them did it first?
KD team.
KG.
Wait, first.
KG
How?
did it first.
How?
Boston did it first.
Regardless of
KG.
KG, I meant to say KG.
KG.
I want.
And
I'm
until
glad
people
you brought that
start,
up.
until
Hold on a
people
second.
start
Go
looking
ahead.
at that, Ray Allen was
Ray
his
Allen
own
was
team.
not no monster like that.
Ray Allen was the good third.
Thank you.
You had KG, who was definitely that dude who needed to get out of Minnesota. You had Paul Pierce, who was begging for help. Then you had Ray Allen, who can always make sure, don't forget the outside. You had Rondo, who can move a ball like none other.
And he was young.
And then we had Perkins, who can take up some space like Shaq.
And the thing about it is, and that was just a perfect situation.
Yeah.
And when you talk about super teams, that's why they only won the one. Because they were just a perfect
It was a
situation.
perfect team.
A super
Super team
team
is
is Miami.
How is
Hey,
it-
we're superstars. We're coming
How was
together.
that? How was that though? Because a lot of people didn't consider Chris Bosh a superstar. They considered him an all-star.
They consider him they didn't after his performance in the finals. When
No,
he was
uh-uh.
signed
before,
with Miami.
before he even went there.
Before, I'm gonna tell you when he played for the USA team. In Toronto by himself, Chris Bosh was the man. But Toronto was terrible. Toronto was terrible.
But you gotta think about it. Anybody that's on the team by themselves is gonna be the man.
No, not like
Zach
this.
LaVine is the man in Chicago because he's the only one that's good.
This is why Miami is labeled as the first super team. All three of them played together
of this era.
on the Olympic team. They sat down and had a conversation prior to before any moves was made. LeBron made that decision to jump to Miami before he even gave Cleveland the opportunity to counter him. So that alone made it seem like LeBron was out to play with a better team because they were slowly putting it together without nobody knowing it.
But you
That's
got to
what
think
made
about it. Think of the
Miami
rosters
super.
they put around LeBron James in Cleveland.
It was horrible.
And to this day, you look at them rosters, you be like, whoa.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad.
I
at
would have
LeBron
left
for
too.
making
I don't
the
understand why people were upset he left.
I think it was how he left.
Yeah.
not
how
to
he-
me-
I think
not
it was how he
it was
left.
how
not to
he
meaning you in Cleveland, Ohio.
But that's
the
his
Browns.
home.
The other team in the city didn't even win games.
First of all, that's his hometown. That's his hometown.
I
That's what-
get that, but I'm
that's
just
what
saying.
Really
Now,
made
his
it hurt.
hometown is really the place
It-
where you be like, okay,
It was
really?
his home that did that. to him.
Akron? Woo.
Yeah, you gotta remember.
I stayed in Akron. Woo.
You gotta remember.
I've been to Akron.
His whole life
You been to
has
Akron,
been
bro?
there.
I've been to Akron.
Oh, man.
I had to go to Independence. I would never go through Akron.
Bro, that was the great man.
The
I
houses
ordered
are
my
this-
food and got back in the car.
Right.
The houses are this close to each other. Did y'all
Man.
notice that?
Yes.
Yeah, they
I
go-
ordered
Like,
my
literally,
food and
you-
got back in the car.
All you can do is whistle between houses.
Folks was walking past me in Akron. I'm
DoorDash-
like, I'm good.
DoorDash is the greatest thing in Akron.
Listen.
I never got.
Listen, they don't make no money. So to wrap this up here, Giannis said what he said, and it was a shot at the NBA. And I think Giannis, since the beginning, has played the role of I'm just me. I want to stay in Milwaukee, although a lot of us thought he was going to leave us hanging like Kareem. But the Bucks came.
I knew he wouldn't.
The
European.
Bucks came. They did what they did. They brought in Holiday. They paid Middleton, and the Bucks did it together with a very, let's just say it. I mean, you look at the Bucks roster and say this is not a championship roster.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said it, and I said it on the last show. I'll say it again.
And
he can get these fuck yous too.
And I'll say it to Kareem again. Kareem, you ain't for doubting us.
I mean, he left us hanging too. But again, it was a different era. None of us were born. I mean, you got to talk to people
What you
that.
mean? It doesn't matter.
Back in the 70s, I was talking to an old time Bucks fan, not to give Kareem a pass for leaving us, but one of my people that I work with, who's also a season ticket holder now, has said to me, he said to me, you know, back in the 70s, okay, let's just resolve this on the air. We're just going to put it out there.
Why would you do this on the air though?
Why not?
You know
I
what?
mean,
Fine, we
we
can talk
watching
about-
TV.
Here's my deal. Here's my
No. You
It's
can't
the
tell
season-
my story.
It's
Let-
the season final episode.
you
fine.
can't tell my story.
Go ahead.
Keith, did you get anything?
I'm not saying Kesey
No.
getting anything.
Did
Go
I
ahead.
get? Kesey was on the phone with me. Did I get anything out of you signing up, being a season ticket holder under me? Did I get anything out of it?
No, we both give up the same
Let
amount
me
of
tell you
credit card
something.
numbers.
No.
And for the same price.
When I said to Jason, and I quote, "Do I get a discount for signing up all these people? Do I get anything out of the deal?" What did Jason say?
No, because you can't.
What do you expect them to say when you on the phone?
Listen, let me tell you something. My two
If
best.
I asked Donald Trump, hey man, how's it going? How you feel about Black Americans? Oh man, I ain't got no problem with y'all. Oh, you ain't got no problem with us?
my
no, I ain't got
two-
no problem with y'all.
My two best friends at this table since 5. One is really cool. The other's a really big jerk.
No. The other one is very suspicious.
So hold on, time out. So what you're trying to say is he getting some extra incentive
Incentive.
Let me tell you something.
Incentive.
Let me tell you something.
Incentives.
Kesey, you've been knowing Dre real long. You've been knowing him a long time.
He got to get something out
And
the deal.
exactly.
Wow.
He
Wow.
got to get something.
Is that how y'all? You know what?
You brought this up. I didn't want
Yo.
to bring this up.
This has been another episode of the 94 Feet Podcast.
Come on, man.
We're not done yet. Hold up. Don't X us out yet. But I'll tell you one thing. That when season 2 start, if there's 2 new best friends sitting to my right and left, you know why. Because these saying, you know what I'm saying? This
You
here,
brought this
especially-
up.
I
I
brought
didn't
it
want to
up.
bring this up.
I just co-signed.
Well, you're terrible because you know that it's not true.
I know, but it was funny.
So at the end of the day, people, listen here. The Milwaukee Bucks, and this is just us being humorous, but y'all gotta see Zeke. Dog, Zeke, if he thinks I get anything out of it, he
going.
won't do it.
You're going too hard. You going too hard, Dre.
Because I'm a fan? Because
Nah,
I've been
nah,
trying to
man.
get my boy to become a season ticket holder
Nope.
forever?
No, I've been knowing you too
But
long,
I
and
got
you've been
some-
having season.
But he told me he was going to buy me a shirt for signing up with him at the same time.
I'm saying, like,
that shirt might have been free. I'm not saying it's something
No,
big.
we supposed to go to the pro shop and pick it out.
What I'm saying is this. Jason might have been like, "Yeah, just get him to sign up. I get your shirt, son." I'm not saying it was something big. What I'm saying is this.
So Jason gave him a credit to the pro shop to buy me a shirt.
Okay.
Thanks for putting me.
Listen, let me tell you.
He going too hard. He going too hard.
As he overmodulates here with all that screaming and hollering, let me tell y'all something. You can't do nothing nice for people. You just can't be a fan.
You can't.
Wait a second.
Go
Wait a
ahead.
second. I've admitted when I get things out of things. For example,
Later.
No.
Season starts in October. If he tells you in November, I'm gonna say I told you so. And I'm not tripping. I just want him to tell me. Just tell me what's up, man.
First of all,
Ain't nothing going on.
let's not act like when I was in a season ticket holder how many free tickets I've given you both. Let's not go there. First of all, okay.
Since he's a season ticket
Free-
holder, now
free
you
who?
get free tickets.
Listen.
Free who?
Exactly. Trey don't do nothing for free.
Game tickets is
Trey
paid.
don't do nothing for free.
Now the second thing, if this was my Southwest credit card, we all know what I get out of that. 10,000 bonus points when I get people to sign up.
So you bringing my point. You're
No,
making
I'm
my
not.
point.
Southwest advertises that for you anyway.
So you advertising for Southwest now?
If you need a link, hit me up. I got 30,000 points left for the year to gain. I got you. Hit me up. Listen, folks. At the end of the day, we are all very glad and very happy about our Milwaukee Bucks. This has been a season like no other. This is the end of our first season of the 94 Feet Podcast. We want to give some love to our brothers Zeke, because the way we actually all started this podcast, it was actually during the pandemic where we were all stuck at home, right? We were stuck, not doing anything. And Zeke hit us up like, man, we should, because we always talk.
He was like, I need to talk to y'all.
Yeah,
That's what he
yeah,
started
we
out,
thought it
and
was
I'm
something
like,
serious.
And here I go. I'm like, oh man, what this nigga
No,
want now?
my response was like, oh, we didn't offend him again, because he gets a little,
Yeah,
But
he's a little
He's a
sensitive.
little sensitive.
They
But,
ain't got nothing to do
anyway,
with it.
anyway, let me tell the
You trying to
story.
put Nick Rose really on.
Let me tell the story.
If you
So
gonna tell it right.
shut up. Let me finish. Jesus
See,
Christ.
y'all, this is what happens to us all the time.
I mean, we got a tea time in 22 minutes. So
We ain't gonna make
Let's
it.
go.
listen, man,
Speaker
we're going to
box.
make it. We'll be there. So we started doing this on Zoom and Google during the pandemic back in 2020. And we were just doing it for fun. We were leaking it, and we were really hard on ourselves. We were like, man, that wasn't a good episode. Or, you guys are cutting each other off. Zeke, I mean, we felt like we were, man, punching the clock or something. So my sister, who I recently met, maybe about 5 years ago, my sister Alicia was on this podcasting network, TDR, and she has a podcast called Speak Your Truth. And Zeke had decided, he was like, you know what, guys, if we're going to do this, we need to go all out. So we started having meetings, and Alicia introduced us to Tone, and we said, you know what, let's just run with this, right? And we didn't know what was going to happen, right? We didn't know. So we started to run with this. Go ahead.
We had no idea what we was getting ourselves into.
None.
At least I didn't.
I didn't.
None.
I knew, but
And so
And still to this day, I'm like, man, what the hell?
literally, I mean, there are times where we've had it out. We've argued, right? We've disagreed on things.
I done
and-
gave both of them a knuckle sandwich.
I mean, we've literally said, dude, what is it that you want from us? I think each other, but I think that comes back to just us being lifelong friends. You know, we've all been friends since we were 5 years old. We've all been sports fans, and we've always found a way to come back together even if there is a disagreement. So 94 Feet Nation, thank you for making season 1 a memorable one. 22 episodes. There are some podcasts who don't make it past the first 2. You know, and Tone tells us our listenership, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, we have been one of his fastest growing podcasts since he's been in this industry. And so that is a team effort. And to the 94 Feet Nation, we thank you. Zeke, something you want to add?
No.
Not yeah.
No, you talk enough.
I
That's
talked
it.
enough.
I'm cutting you off right
You
now.
can't cut us off, man. It's not 6
No,
yet.
I'm cutting him off.
Oh, you're cutting Zeke off?
Dang.
Sick of your shit.
Yes. Thank you, Tone, for covering for me. No, go ahead, Zeke, and then we'll let Tone jump in. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that this has been a long road. I had fun. Hopefully, we get to do it again next season. So it's just one of them things where
We ain't never nervous. Go ahead.
it's one of them things where
Interviews will be held in October.
like we when we.
Go ahead.
It's never a serious moment.
Let him finish.
Okay.
Let him finish. Go ahead.
No, this is fun. This is fun. I'm glad we did this. I mean, I had to push these Negroes to do it, but I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we came here and Tone really was like embraced this and was like, man, I've been waiting for a sports podcast. So it was just perfect time. It's just like the Bucks season. So maybe hopefully we run it back. The Bucks run it back too, and then
We run it back.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of them things where timing is everything. Hopefully, we do some different things next year. You might even get Stephen A. versus Kesey. So,
Oh yeah, shout out to my brothers. Got us a couple of cigars.
you got us some cigars.
Championship,
Oh,
for our
championship.
Go ahead, Keith. Give us some of your closing final thoughts, and we'll let Tone do his thing, and I'll take us home. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, man, coming into this, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew we had a whole bunch of ideas, and how was we gonna put all these ideas together with 3 people who
Strong personality.
strong personalities who think they the boss.
You are 100% and 50% right.
But through God's glory, no,
God's grace.
we have made it through this, y'all. And I wouldn't have wanted to do this with anybody else, y'all. Shout out to my brothers, man.
I tell you, man, we recorded once in Zeke's kitchen. I think we recorded in my living room. I think we recorded in Kesey's basement, or he recorded. I mean, so we literally have given the nation 22 straight episodes. We never missed a week. We've never missed a week. So 94 Feet Nation, this was for you. Milwaukee, this is for you.
I would actually say, like Zeke said earlier, I've been looking for a sports podcast to add to the network. And the fact that you guys came at the right time was perfect. You guys already had the chemistry, so I didn't really have to do nothing other than tell him to talk more and him to talk less.
And he's talking, yes,
Yeah.
and he's talking to Zeke.
But other than that, like it was fun to do this, to hear different opinions, to be vocal. I'm gonna jump out on a limb, since sports fans are superstitious. You guys are probably part of the reason why the Bucks won this year.
Well,
So that means you got to come back for season 2 if we want to keep this run going.
Oh yeah.
oh, we're back. We're here.
Yeah.
Season
So-
2.
So to hear a whole complete NBA season with you guys and the way you guys are analyzing stuff and giving conversations, that's going to be something that the city is definitely needing. And the great part about it is I'll go ahead and say it on this show, I'm getting ready to start a whole radio station. So right away, I already have the sports show that I want to be the premier one on it. So that's why, like, you guys came at the right time.
That's awesome, man. And, for us, for those of you that are in Podcast Nation, you can listen to us on Spreakers, Google, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, now Amazon. Obviously, wherever podcasts are listened to, get social with us on social media at 94 Feet Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And again, thank you all for making 94 Feet Nation one of the most listened to podcasts on the TDR network. And we look forward to season 2. Go Bucks. Our final question, Zeke, can the Bucks run it back? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
The Bucks, 2P. We can't wait for next season tickets. Follow us at 94 Feet Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You want that ticket plug? Holla at your boy Dre. I'll put you on. Southwest Cars, I'll put you on. Public speaking, I'll put you on. It'll cost you, though. 94 Feet Nation, out.